Is Shakespeare's Macbeth an evil character? Macbeth is one of the greatest works provided by William Shakespeare, which reflects people's lives in the modern world. The figure of Macbeth represents the evil nature of many individuals, as some do not show their natural behavior at the first steps of communication. This character hears a prophecy of 3 witches and decides to take fate into his hands to approach the future because he is said to be the King of Scotland. However, the author clearly indicates that individuals do not have such power to act as God because this behavior can have harmful consequences for them. Even though Macbeth commits specific actions to ensure that the prophecy becomes true, one cannot state that the character is satisfied with the following events. While the hero is positive at the beginning of the play, he turns into a villain during the literary work. This transition is significant since it demonstrates that ambition for power can force individuals to act unethically. While Macbeth is initially described as a war hero and acknowledged by King Duncan, he finally commits murder and engages in further political atrocities to preserve his power. To begin with, one should explain that Macbeth is initially described as a positive hero because he was a general who defeated the armed forces of Ireland and Norway. A wounded sergeant appears and tells King Duncan of Scotland that Macbeth played a significant role in this success. The king understands the importance of this person and describes him as "O valiant cousin, worthy gentleman." In addition to that, Macbeth receives the title of Thane of Cawdor, while bravery and fighting prowess are the leading features that describe Macbeth at the beginning of the play. King Duncan positively assesses Macbeth and his contribution and announces that he will spend a night at Macbeth's castle, and specific war achievements prove that this attitude is justified. This description is unanimous in demonstrating that the character under analysis is positive. That is why readers are not prepared for the dramatic changes that Macbeth will experience in his desire to gain power and become King of Scotland. The character of Macbeth experiences a notable transition from a hero to a villain, and these changes are gradual. He desires to become a king and stays in the middle of the ethical decision before killing King Duncan. The action happens when Macbeth changes his personality and becomes evil. Even though the character is easily tempted to commit a crime, he is not initially satisfied with this event because he suffers from remorse and guilt. Macbeth states, "I'll go no more. I am afraid to think what I have done." Even though the character has achieved his goal, he understands that unethical and unlawful means were utilized to cope with the task. These thoughts are harmful to him because he cannot enjoy his new title in its full entirety. His wife, Lady Macbeth, tries to comfort him as she played a significant role in making Macbeth commit murder. However, Macbeth's mental well-being is compromised, and readers can have the idea that he develops paranoia and starts fearing others. When Macbeth becomes the king, he keeps acting in a way that explicitly indicates that this character is evil. Political pressure occurs when Macbeth conflicts with the inner ambitions and desires of the king. Misunderstandings force the character to commit evil actions to achieve more. In particular, the desire to preserve his political power made Macbeth murder Banquo, Duncan's guards, and Macduff's family. The tyrant engaged in these activities because he could not know how to rule or behave with political opponents without being rude. Even though the other characters try to stop him during the whole story, Macbeth responds to this political pressure from others by being more brutal. Unchecked ambitions put the character in a dangerous condition, as revenge from others is realistic. That is why the desire to remain in power is the leading factor that contributes to Macbeth's transition into a tyrant. In conclusion, the character of Macbeth is a suitable example of how various internal and external factors can make people change. While the character under analysis was initially presented as a good and gentle person, he experienced significant changes. When Macbeth obtained an opportunity to kill King Duncan and become King of Scotland, he decided to act. The murder was the first key moment that marked his transition from a good into an evil character. Macbeth finally reached tyrannical status when he became the king and tried to cope with his political opponents. For him, violence was the only acceptable strategy to rule. Thus, Macbeth appears as a character who can be met in the real world, even these days. People are ready to act unlawfully and unethically to achieve set goals. Macbeth is an example of a person who is influenced by power and wants to achieve more, ignoring pressure and ethical norms.